Hi, I'm here with Lisa Jhung, I'm here talking with Dipsea runners on behalf of the race on Zoom today with longtime Dipsea runner and writer Lisa. Thank you for being with me today, Lisa. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Sam.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk. Could you tell about your running background and racing background and what initially got you into the field of writing about it as well
Right.
and
Gosh.
athletics?
Well, I'll try to keep it shorter than 2 days long, the summary of my history with running. But the short version is I had been running after quitting volleyball, and I was a walk-on in college. And then I just filled my time with running and lived in Santa Barbara and ran in all the beautiful places there. And then moved to the Bay Area and was living in San Francisco and discovered all the trails in Marin and was hiking with my roommate and saw course markers one day and was like, oh, what's that? And someone told us it was for the Dipsea. And I just started like frothing at the mouth and go, oh my God, there's a race on this trail. Um, and at the time I was like an Olympic distance triathlete and runner, primarily a runner, but did all the other stuff. And so the Dipsea piqued my interest. And that was like the late 90s, been around a while. And it took me a while to get in, but I finally did. I think it was 3 years of writing, begging, pleading letters and stating race times or road 10Ks and things like that. And I finally got in. And so once I was in, I was hooked. Doesn't take much. It takes one race, or it takes even watching the race. And I was like a Dipsea runner, devotee for life. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So do you remember what year that was and how that first Dipsea race went for you?
I think it was maybe 90, gosh, 96 maybe. And I think the first year I didn't know much about training and what to do and what not to do the day before a race. And I remember playing like pickup soccer in Golden Gate Park with some friends, and my friend, like a guy friend who was a runner, was like, you got to stop. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry about the sound interference, but was telling me to stop running around. But it was fun running around, and I was 20, I don't know, 6 maybe 25, I don't know. And so that first race didn't go great, and I also didn't like pre-run it. I mean, I knew the trail but not really well. I don't remember how I finished, but I somehow kept a good position in the invitational, and so I maintained that. But I learned a lot. It was fun. I mean, I didn't fall. I don't think I ate it that year. I might have. There was one year I got a really bloody knee, but that just made me want to come back for more. And I remember like at the award ceremony, probably crying because of somebody's amazing story and just being very moved by the whole scene. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to it. And I saw that, you quickly became successful, that you've got some double digit finishes, meaning you get your number on your bib the next year, which is a
Yeah.
huge deal.
That was a huge deal. I would love to do that again someday, but I don't know. I guess I was like younger and training a lot, and somehow got a couple double digit finishes, which was like super exciting. So I've tasted it, like I still like beyond any other race finish in any other sport that I do, I would someday really love to have a black shirt, but I don't know. It's hard. I don't live there anymore. I don't get a lot of time on the trail, but yeah, being under 100 makes you kind of go, oh wow, maybe it's within reach. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely, if you have a good year with the right number of handicap minutes.
That's
and
right.
it looks, I mean, with the handicap minutes, it looks like you're right in the middle then, about like, halfway up in the
Yeah.
numbers. So that's not a bad place to be when you start
No,
there.
it's not at all. It's like the only race that makes you feel good about getting older, It's like, oh, I get another minute. So that's always fun. And I'm kind of lucky because my birthday is June 2nd. And so that's pretty good because I get older, but then a few days later I get more time, right? So it sort of works out. I have like a rivalry with a college roommate whose birthday is a few months later. So it kind of works out for me.
Yeah, it works out well for people over the scratch group, and for under, then it's, the opposite effect, of course,
Right.
for them. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have a one year that really stood out to you? Was it like when you came sort of close to getting a black shirt? Like,
Yeah.
was that most memorable, or was there a year that was memorable for another reason?
I mean, they're all memorable. I don't exactly remember how the race unfolded for me. The year I think I was 53rd was my highest. I think I had a 90 somethingth and maybe a 70 something. Um, I've had some bad ones where like I just didn't have the legs and just felt terrible. I remember those almost as well as the good ones, unfortunately. But I don't know. I think all things just come together. There was one year where I had like a slightly torn quad or something and didn't know if I was going to be able to race. And I didn't run for like the 3 weeks leading up to it. And I thought I was just going to run uphill because my leg didn't hurt running uphill. And then I would just drop out when we started going down because I thought I'd re-tear it or something. And it turns out we started running downhill and I felt good. And I was like so happy to be healthy that I was just like hooting and hollering like the whole race. Like, this is so awesome. I was just so joyful to be able to do the whole course. It just felt like a gift. So that one I really remember because I didn't think I was going to be able to even finish, much less, I mean, I didn't think I was going to be able to go downhill at all. And I got to run the whole thing and I didn't hurt myself. So that's like a huge bonus for me, someone who happens to be hurt very often.
Yeah, that's memorable. So, would you say the uphills are generally your strength, or do you, on a strong year, do you do well on the downhills too?
I think I'm, uphills are all about fitness. And so that's like kind of like a variable. And I always love the crazy downhills. Like, I think that's just no matter how fit or unfit I am, I always love those wild downhills. I think I do best in those sections. Like, yeah, I love suicide. I love the soup. I love like the crazy, just like arms flailing like this, like keeping your balance as best you can. I just really like that kind of stuff. Like the dirtier, the wilder, the worse conditions, the better for me. I'm not like a great road runner by any means, but I think I have some grit, or like I just like that stuff, like the adventurous. The more the adventurous, the better. So the downhills I think are better for me. The crazy
Yeah,
one, not the road sections. The downhills are terrible. I hate them.
yeah, those are tough. I agree.
Yeah, they hurt.
You have to have some grit to come back after
True.
the first time around the Dipsea.
That's true.
So, do you have? I was going to ask about goals for future Dipsies, but it sounds like the black shirt is still kind of there as kind of the ultimate.
It's the ultimate. It's been a long time since I've been even close. So I don't know. I should maybe have a B goal of like, just maintaining an invitational spot or a certain time or something. It's just, I've had, like all of us past our, I don't know, there's no prime with the Dipsea, right? But like I have had injuries and I have like a connective tissue disorder. So I just get out of whack easily. So it's tough for me to stay healthy enough to have a real goal that I can then train for, stay healthy while I'm training for it, and then pursue. Like all of those things aligning, it's like, that's a great goal to have. And so maybe that's my new goal.
Yeah,
Healthy enough to just go give it my all. That's a goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and since you have a couple decades running experience with the Dipsea itself, I haven't with a couple of the newer runners, I haven't had a chance to ask them like changes they've seen over the years, like with the runners or with the course, or even like you must have had a few times you passed Jack Kirk, in the earlier years that you might remember. So I'm curious if there's anything that stands out about that.
Well, for sure. It's interesting. Actually was my very first feature story I was ever assigned was a profile of Jack Kirk. And I think that was 1990 something. I mean, it was the late 90s, but I have a very soft spot for Jack Kirk. And so it was an interesting story because I was assigned the story by Trail Runner. I think it was in his first year publication. And, Jack didn't have email or even a phone or an address that I knew of. And I wrote him a letter, just Jack Kirk, Mariposa, California. And like I mailed it. And a few days later, I got a 4-page front and back handwritten letter from Jack Kirk. And so we had this like correspondence back and forth that was just so sweet. He was such an interesting character. And I just was so touched that he took the time to write me back. And so I wrote that feature and then eventually got to meet him at the race in person, which was like just wonderful. And to see him with the back, like, don't touch, he used to wear a sign on his back, or his pacer wore a sign, like, don't touch Jack. So that was pretty special. And then when he passed, I'm just really glad the Dipsea has memorialized him so well. And then, yeah, in the years, it seems like with the Dipsea clientele, there have been more people from out of state, more like professional runners trying to give it a go and see what they can do on the course. I mean, I'm now out of state. I'm no professional runner, but there's more and more people, you know, and I think that's kind of tough because it's such a locals race. It's just it's a Marin County special, right? But it's nice that they're letting some of us either come back who used to live there, or new runners from Colorado, where I live in particular, coming to test their mettle on the course, because it is just the best course. It's the best.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've seen that change. You know, there's just more professional runners coming out there. Go, well, I'm going to see what this Dipsea is all about. So it seems like that's going to change.
Yeah, there's definitely also Colorado connection nowadays, which is one of the things that some people are following up on, I think, because it's like, you know, Mark Tatum and then a bunch of top 10 contenders from the last few years.
Right.
So there's definitely a very strong interest.
Yeah,
right
for
now.
sure. Yeah.
So my final question is, what does the Dipsea mean to you?
Oh my goodness. I mean, the Dipsea means a whole lot to me. It was the first trail running race. I think it was the first race I really fell in love with. I did races before that, but it was just instantly, as soon as I heard about it, I just knew I had to get into it, you know, and then running it, I was like, I felt so special to be part of this historic family. It's just so unique and so special and so beautiful. And I mean, the staggered starts, the handicaps, like everything about it is just so cool. And it's the fact that I wrote my first feature story ever about Jack on the course, and then have written story after story. I've been lucky enough to get these stories published. In that Runner's World story, I was lucky to write that feature about my like love affair with the Dipsea, and then just to get to know people like Jack and Russ Kiernan, who I did that video tour with, and he's such a special guy, and just all the people I've met through the Dipsea. It's really meant a lot to me in my running life, in my professional life, in my natural love of the natural world. I mean, it's gorgeous, the whole thing. It's been really special. And now, like I said, my old college roommate she lives in the Bay Area, and she's been doing it. And so it's been like a kind of a reunion of sorts when I can get out there. So it's just, it definitely means a lot to me on many levels.
That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing stories and history and your unique perspective on the Dipsea.
Of course. I
Thank
hope
you.
to be out there for many years to come and nab those extra handicap minutes as I grow older.
Yeah, I'll be watching for you in the results in future years. I really hope you make it soon.
I gotta get and stay healthy, and then I'll go for it.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Sam.